It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Thanks for staying with your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It is Expresso, and we're opening up to some brave conversations. We welcome you to the final episode of Ingram's Skin Sessions for 2022, a thought-provoking campaign that encourages brave conversations which are more than skin deep. And it's Ingram's Skin Sessions that really have been centered around encouraging people to embrace and celebrate the skin they're in, right? Everything that's got to do with the makeup of their being and delving into topics that people are not always open to discussing. And this year's Brave Conversations, there really have been powerful ones. I mean, we've talked about everything: mental health, code switching, body positivity, pronouns. These are just some of the topics that we've discussed in the 2022 Ingram Skin Sessions campaign, shining a spotlight, obviously, on the importance of living an authentic life and an empowered one as well.
Yep, authenticity. It's come up in every session. And we've embarked on this brave journey of unpacking the daily struggles people face through real purpose-driven conversations that saw new thought-provoking topics discussed, thankfully, on this platform. And here to wrap up this year's compelling campaign, we welcome back for the last time two of our favorites. It's not a competition, but they've been two of the best. Actress, writer, and poet, and good friend of ours, Lebo Mashile, and political analyst, journalist, and broadcaster, and another good friend of ours, Eusebius McKaiser. Guys, you have helped me become a better parent. And that's what it's about for me. And I know that parenting role, that father figure role, comes in many guises, but I am just so hopeful that people have taken something out of it. So thank you to both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And you guys, I mean, you've had your work cut out for you in terms of really engaging with people on the ground and really taking all of that information and packaging it in ways that are, I suppose, easy to understand for the rest of us. What stood out for you, Lebo?
Sure. I think what stood out overall is the fact that there's a deepening to the conversations. It seems like because of everything that we have been through over the last couple of years, people are looking for meaning. Authenticity. People are looking for something that is going to speak to the realities that we are living. People are grieving. There's economic crisis, there's political crisis, not just in South Africa, but all over the world. And at the same time, there's also this incredible awakening. You look at how so many different groups of people that have been marginalized are now asserting their identity.
Yes.
Whether it's LGBTQIA people, or whether it's body positivity, differently abled people, whether it's moms, or just groups of people that we have not seen centered in mainstream narratives now have a voice. So it's been exciting to see the way that this has come alive in this campaign.
I love that.
Difference, individuality are being celebrated now. It's still a tough world to live in.
Yeah.
And I can only liken it to being a parent because that's my experience of life. But I'm terrified to let my children out into the world, not for the things that I can show or teach them, but for the things that I haven't gone through, the stuff that I can't teach them or show them how to deal with that, like being brave. Eusebius, what was the bravest moment of your life where you didn't have a choice other than just dealing with that situation and being brave? What's been your moment?
A bunch of us tackled that question, a bunch of us who've been on the platform tackled that question around the dinner table. And I wish we'd recorded it, because the one thing that we agreed is we went around the table and there were black women, there was a disabled person, there was me as a queer person. And if you have been born into a society where you belong to one of the many social groups that are oppressed, bravery comes with your existence. There isn't a moment at the age of 6.5 or 14 or 21 in Cape Town walking down Long Street where you realize, OMG, I better be brave. Take myself, and let me personalize it. I was born into a working class colored community in Egini in the Eastern Cape. I was queer as Christmas, effeminate, in a society where unless you are butch, I mean, this body is one that developed in high school, but in primary school, I used to get teased all the time. So I didn't have a choice but to be brave. It was either you become a recluse and you shrink, literally and figuratively, or bravery is thrust upon you as a black person, as a woman, as a queer person, as a person living under conditions of poverty.
The moment where I marveled at your bravery was last year. You know, CBS, we both lost Karima Brown, you know, esteemed journalist, thinker, broadcaster. And Eusebius so beautifully emceed her funeral, her memorial ceremony. And I just thought, you know, in the throes of grief, to stand up and say, I am going to hold my friend's memory with love and with care and celebrate her life while I'm falling apart. That was incredible. I like
stand out.
Yeah, no, bow down for that moment.
And it's necessary. But why do you think, Lebo, it's so difficult for people to commit to their bravery? Because it can be fickle too.
Well, they say courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway, you know? And I think, I mean, I know resilience is a word that has gotten thrown around a lot, especially since this COVID crisis, and people are tired of resilience. People don't want to be resilient anymore,
We don't have any of it left.
And I think that we have to honor that too, that there are days when I can stand up boldly, proudly as my best black feminist self. And then there are days where I'm like, you know what? I don't want to take it on.
And sometimes you think people are tired of it.
I'm tired of, and not just people, I'm tired. I am tired of them zabalazo of being myself. So today I'm gonna rest. This Twitter debate doesn't need me.
I'm gonna give myself a break from myself.
Exactly from my renegade activist self, and I'm gonna have a rest today, and it's me and Netflix. And then tomorrow I will be ready to fight the battle. So it's also okay. It's okay to say, today I'm not up for it.
Step back.
I step back. Others will fight the battle today. It doesn't just need to be, it's not about my ego. And when I'm ready, I'll be back.
Let me put a slightly different spin on it, because I can say undoubtedly some of the bravest moments in my life have not been a moment. I've fought for my life. I've literally had guns at my head. I've had guys try and knife me. I've done the thing that on the surface of it, you would think, wow, that's brave. Bravest thing that I've ever done, getting out of bed in the morning.
Yes.
Honestly, and it sounds ridiculous, at my lowest point, just getting out of bed and doing it again tomorrow, and then doing it again tomorrow. People look at me and they see a white guy on TV, and I'm sure a list of privileges kind of come into place, and rightly so, because those do exist. We don't see what's happening on the other side. That's made the vulnerability that you as celebrities, and I know you don't like that kind of tag, but in your spaces, you are celebrities. Hence why we've brought you onto TV to talk about these things. What do we need to do with this platform that we have?
You've just done it, and I think that was such a beautiful role modeling that you've just done. For better or worse, even if we, with genuine humility, don't like thinking of ourselves as public figures or as celebrities, all four of us have got public profiles, and with that comes reach and impact. And if there's something that I absolutely hate, it is the overcoming narrative. Publishers love it, we love it. If we do confess that we are battling addiction or suicidality, then you're only allowed to come on the couch or to write your memoir if the final chapter is lives happily ever after. But life is about constant struggle. And the way in which we can be the best possible mentors and role models to people in our lives, or the ones that follow us on social media or watch your television show, is to be not completely transparent, but to be very clear that when Graham is projecting a smile onto TV, that is not the sum total of who he is. He might have been wrestling with himself whether or not to give up that morning. And so to allow an aspect of your full humanity to sometimes shine through, I think is a really wonderful way of demonstrating to those people who look up to you that actually you're never a finished product. You are always wrestling with life, because life is hard.
And we all go through the same struggles. We all face them every day. Guys, it really has been so fantastic. What has stood out for you this year, Eusebius?
For me,
conversations.
Yeah, it is the willingness to go there. I mean, I've been sitting here in conversation with the absolutely brilliant insights of everyone else that has been on this journey, the questions you've asked, the comments that have come up, the engagement on social media from the public with this campaign, that has been absolutely amazing. The worst thing we can do is to not be brave enough to put up our hand and say, I don't understand, I've got a question, I want to learn, don't chop my head off, Eusebius. can I ask you this question about pronouns? Can I ask you this question about sexuality? And it's just opening up that space for critical engagement in a safe way. That, for me, has been what's been absolutely beautiful.
Love that.
Lebo, what have you learned? What has been the one kind of life-affirming or life-altering gem that you've been able to uncover through this journey?
Sure. Wow. You know, I've come for some distance with this campaign. I've seen it from its inception up until now. And I remember in the very beginning, it was very much about kind of definitions. You know, we're introducing these concepts to a broader audience. And now to see the deepening of the conversation. You know, it's very easy to get, when you operate in communities where people are aware of these issues, right? It becomes like a battle of the woke, right? If you don't, you know what I mean? If you don't say the right thing at the right time, if you're not completely clued up on the issue of the day, then there's something wrong with you, right? Yeah. But this is reaching out to a much broader audience. This is saying to people sitting at home who have never come across this concept, that you have a place in this conversation.
Absolutely.
Because these issues live everywhere. There are LGBTQIA people everywhere. There are moms everywhere. There's somebody sitting in the platteland right now who loves their child but doesn't know how to deal with the child's transness. Right? In Hammanskraal, you know? There are people living with depression. I mean, what you said to me was, what you said now was so profound, that waking up when you're living with anxiety, depression, mental illness, grief, waking up, taking a bath, when you're dealing with postpartum depression, taking care of yourself is such a radical and brave act. So I feel like we've created a platform for everybody from whatever level of awareness, whatever your political background, whatever your social background is, there's a plug point into these conversations for you. And I think this is what people need to know now, that I can access this, I can be a part of it, I can learn. I'm not bad because I wasn't raised in a way that allows me to understand all of these issues, but I'm curious and I care, so I can find my pathway into it.
Well, forget about skin deep, to the core.
Absolutely.
To the core, guys. The respect and the care you've handled us as kind of these open minds trying to find our way through some very difficult, very, very difficult areas, and I'm sure it's been like that for our viewers, has been so commendable. So thank you so much. We've loved this, man. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
We've got to start the next round. I think that's the only way to do it, is to do it all over again.
And that's it. An end to another deep but really, really powerful Ingram Skin Sessions campaign. Remember to always dare to be brave out there in the decisions that you make, the life that you live, that you choose to live, and the skin that you're in. There's only one last chance at joining this last week's Brave Conversations, where you will stand the chance to still then win that final $1,000 prize.
And that's because we love you so much. So please, to that last lucky winner, you just got to reply to the competition post on the Expresso Facebook, Twitter or Instagram page and tell us what you love most about your body. And don't forget to include that hashtag #YourSkinYourBrave. This week's competition closes at midday today. Terms and conditions, as always, can be found on our website, expressoshow.com. I would suggest that you pick up the conversation with these incredible human beings, because that's ultimately all we are. We are just human beings. Keep the conversation going, and most importantly, continue to be brave in your own life.
Do you own your skin? Do you wear it bravely, even when others try to dim its glow? Does it represent your strength, your heritage, or does it express your brave and unconditional love? New look Ingrams, your skin, your brave.